and welcome to Eddie's Expression Initiative at Home. My name's Nate. I'm going to guide you through some thoughts and things to think about today. Today's session is based around mindfulness. So a reminder, mindfulness is to be present in the things that you do and in the moments that you spend. Mindfulness is to be present with what you're doing, where you are. So to be present where you are. So not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past, just thinking about being here now. I chose juggling yesterday as our art program, or what we're going to do for art, built around the idea of transformation. We were turning things into other things, so transforming old socks and balloons into juggling balls. If you want to learn to juggle, come to Eddie's. I can give you a one-on-one lesson. Keep watching our channel. I'm going to release a video on how to juggle in coming weeks, so keep your eyes out for that. Today I want to talk about transformation. So what is transformation? Transformation and growth is what I've put this down as. The ability to change. Things change constantly. The only constant is change. Most of you kids are probably going through, or have been through, most likely going through puberty of some description, which is a massive transformation for the self. Your whole body changes, new beginnings, and you start looking at the world differently too when you go through puberty. You start seeing things differently, and that's part of the transformation. I mean, all creatures do it on the planet. If you think about it, I mean, there's a lifespan to everything. They transform from baby animals to old animals. We have transformations, some amazing transformations on the planet of things like tadpoles turning into frogs. They change from one extreme to another, water-based life form to land-based life form. There's a creature called an axolotl, which is actually part of the newt family. And if you build, and I haven't seen it happen, but I've heard that you can do this. Research it if you want, but I believe this to be true. If you take an axolotl, which is a newt that lives underwater, it has gills on the outside of its body, and put it in create a home with a sandbank in that water, that axolotl will wander up and slowly lose its gills and develop lungs. I mean, that's the missing link, isn't it? For us coming out of the primordial ooze back in the day 200 million years ago. This planet has changed. Everything changes. And that's got to be comforting in some way. I mean, you could be stressed by the fact that everything's going to change. You can be excited that everything is going to change. Transformation and growth. I've chosen green because green represents growth. Because if you look around you, plants are growing constantly and consistently. They say that if humans disappeared from the planet, that the buildings and the cities that we've constructed would be gone within like 50 years. They would be covered in undergrowth. And this is true. This happened when the Spanish went to South America. They discovered these great countries and what they call El Dorado, all these great cities of gold. And then they went back to Spain and gathered an armada of ships to go back to South America to collect the gold. And when they got back, they couldn't find anybody. It had vanished. The city of El Dorado had vanished. The truth is that most of the people had died from a common cold that was left behind by the Spanish. And in the time that it took the Spanish to get the funding and build the ships to go back to South America, the forests had reclaimed the cities. They had transformed. They're still there, but it's harder to see. So transformation can be painful. You've all heard of growing pains. I'm sure you've all had them. I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm going to say that, you know what, some of my most greatest thoughts and greatest things that I've been through have been some of the most painful experiences too, emotionally, to go through. I've learned from these things. So now when I'm in a time when things are difficult and I'm feeling like, and I'm in pain emotionally, I know that things will get better and that I'm growing. There's a very simple story that I heard. I'll put a link in the comments, in the body of this, so you can watch it later. But there was this old rabbi guy that I found online, and he tells a story of the lobster. So he's sitting in this rabbi is sitting in the dentist's office, and he's reading old National Geographics, and there's a magazine there, and it talks about the lobster. Now the lobster, as you know, is a hard shell creature, but it's really a soft shell creature that lives inside of a hard shell, so it has to shed its shell periodically to allow it to grow. So what's happening is inside of the shell, this lobster is growing, and so therefore its shell is getting tighter and tighter and more ill-fitting, till eventually it becomes so uncomfortable and so ill-fitting that the lobster has to crack itself free from its shell, and out of that shell, it takes a while, it takes half an hour or so, it cracks itself out of the shell, and it opens up to be this giant creature, and it goes under a rock, and it has to hide for a while the oxygen in the water oxidizes with its soft shell, and it becomes a hard shell creature again. But that process of change, the relief that would come from the release of the shackles that the body is creating for itself, would be incredible. And I can relate to that. I think that I choose to relate to that, in that I know that when I'm going through a tough time, or I'm emotionally unable to deal with something, or I'm having trouble in my mind about the way something's going, I know that it's going to change. And if I'm feeling pain, that means I'm growing and I'm changing. So I'll take that and I'll call that growth, that pain. And the more painful it is, the more I feel that I'm growing. So that's a lesson that's helped me. That's something that's helped me with the idea of transformation and change, and who we are and who I am as a person. I think we could all do with understanding that a little bit. So that was what I was trying to get at with transformation. I think that it's a tough subject to talk about, and it's a tough subject to explain, I think, through a video without any one-on-one connection. If you want to transform your life, you should come down to Eddie's and have a chat with us. We've got a few different programs that can help you. We've got one-on-one coaching, and we've got some programs that can help build your resilience and preparation for change in life. The only constant is change, like I said before, and we're here to support you through that. So take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and wash your hands. Hi guys, thanks for watching the video. Can you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification, everything you need to do, you know what you need to do. Can you do it please? That'd be great. Alright, cool. See you in the next one guys. Take care.